Hey there YouTube, how's it going? My name's Mary. This channel is called Growing Gringa because I'm a Canadian citizen that I've moved to Costa Rica about 2 months ago. This video was supposed to be about something else today, but as they say, Pura Vida, meaning pure life, I'm starting to understand what that means. The translation is very simple, but the meaning is so myriad and so simple and complex at the same time that it's hard to understand, but I think I'm starting to feel it. And for me, in that sense, it's about getting frustrated when I don't end up doing what I thought I would do that day. If there's a certain amount of work to be done, or I really have an intention to do something, and then exactly what happened today, and then it doesn't happen that way. And instead of, I'm learning to not get frustrated and just go with the flow, as they say. Go with the flow, Pura Vida. So right now it's about 5-10 minutes before sunset, and this video was supposed to be about Costa Rica chickens and chicken coops in Costa Rica. After about a month of us being here, we got 5 chicks and 1 rooster, and it's very different than having chickens in Canada. In Canada, I had 3 chickens in an urban environment, and they had, I showed it actually in one of my other videos. It's very different here, so that's part of me growing and getting used to this new life and how I'm going to be able to provide food and learning and provide my own subsistence on this property. So let's go check out my chicken coop, and I'll show you how it's kind of done in Costa Rica. All right, so this is my chicken coop. This is kind of an example about what we see in Costa Rica. It's very open. It needs to be breathing, as with anything here. It needs to breathe. There's just so much humidity that things need to have air circulation. As this is very different from Canada. In Canada, we have it fully enclosed. You know, if you want to have chickens like I did in the winter time, you have to think of other issues as well. When I realized here I didn't have to have an electric heater for my water, I thought that was great. There are other challenges with this coop. So the problem I'm having with this coop right now is water. Like when we built this, the back and forth of building it, and it was being built actually in the rain, and just the days that follow, we've had so much rain. This area is just always wet. It's actually starting to dry up now, but that water was just flowing into the coop all along the wall there. It was all... Their shavings were wet, and I just knew immediately that's going to be a problem. In Canada, normally they would be up on a floor or on a metal cement flooring, and we just get so much less rain in Canada that, you know, it's very different. So here what I've done was dug a trench and filled it with rocks. And it seems to help pretty well, actually. It's starting to really dry out on the inside, and I go in every once in a while and rake it around so the stuff gets moving. So eventually I'll be able to do chicken coop compost right in there, and you don't need to clean it out, which is something that I was doing in Canada as well. So that was kind of my project for today. It's probably about 6 o'clock now. I think I have just enough time to widen this trench here so that it keeps it drier even more. So that's what I'm going to do. This mud, or this dirt, is so heavy. There's a lot of places on this property where the dirt is like red, like very iron, I guess. This dirt generally has a lot of clay in it, and this entire land is full of rocks. There's so many rocks in the ground. And, you know, considering that I'm next to, or not far from, a volcano, I'm really curious. I like to think about the geology and the history of the land. That volcano there is not one that shoots liquid lava. It's more, I forget the name for it, but it's a volcano that shoots rocks and gas. So, I think as far as a prepper goes, that's kind of what I was thinking about. Like, what kind of volcanic preparation would you have to do, you know, to be safe, right? And everyone says, don't worry about it. Like, oh, and nah, it's not a problem. Like, it erupted once, I think, in the last 2 years. But then before that, I think it had been, like, not erupted for, I don't know, like 16 or 20 years or something like that. But I often see smoke coming out of the top. There's a worm. See, me digging like this, my chickens in Canada would be all over me. Just as soon as I took the shovel, my chickens came running. These guys are very different. It's like I show them a worm and no reaction. Maybe. Actually, okay, getting dark. A little bit more of driveway gravel. It'll do the job for one night. Actually, it hasn't rained in 2 days. It's been awesome. I have one more cool thing to put. In the jungle, I found a huge bag of old tiles. There are tiles that were used to build the patio. So I think I'm going to throw a couple of those in there. It looks pretty. And actually, gravel here is kind of something I would have to pay for or find. And it was easier for me to find these nice little ceramic tiles that were like literally dumped in the jungle. So part of what I want to do is start cleaning up. Garbage is my nightmare in Costa Rica. Like, so it's important for me to reuse everything rather than working super, super hard trying to separate gravel out of the burn pile down there on the driveway. It's easier for me to use these. And it looks pretty. So I think it'll hold up for now for a couple nights, and then I'm going to add a couple more tomorrow. Chickies are all going to bed. Actually, my rooster doesn't sleep in the coop. He sleeps up in a tree. And that's so weird. I was talking about that sunset. Wow. Anyways, there's this huge tree next to the house, and the rooster sleeps right here. So strange, but I guess he's more comfortable with that. The girls are all ready for bed. Whoa, look at that. Wow. Who's crying about not being at the beach? That is amazing. I think that's one of the most beautiful sunsets I've seen since I've been here in 2 months. That is fantastic. And I've heard that they get even better when it gets drier in the times about, not when it gets drier, but in about September. Wow. That is absolutely beautiful. I'm so glad to be here with you, checking this out right now to prove that I'm actually here. Thanks so much for stopping by. That was an introduction to my Costa Rican chicken coop, and I'll keep you posted, see how it goes. It's gonna stay dry in there, and I'm gonna put down some new wood chips. And so I think in about 12 weeks, I'm gonna start getting my own eggs, and that'll be one more step towards growing towards a life more in tune with what I think I should be doing. Hanging on to my last bit of light here. Thanks so much for stopping by, guys. That was an introduction to my Costa Rican chicken coop. We'll grow into that as I'm going to grow into all kinds of things here in Costa Rica. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you'll be back again soon, and see you next time. Pura Vida.